welcome to Morocco Fit. Today I'm really excited about the recipe I have for you because it's chocolate. I had no idea how simple chocolate is to make, and it really is easy. Anyone could do this, especially if I could do it. So very few ingredients like all of our recipes. That's one of the criteria, simple and easy. So for the main part of the chocolate, what you need is coconut oil, an almond butter, and cocoa powder. Now when you buy the cocoa powder, make sure that there's no added sugars or preservatives. You just want 100% organic cocoa powder. And then as a sweetener, we've got organic honey. So that's the main bit. That's what's going to give you the chocolate sauce. Then in addition, what you can do is you can add a little bit of vanilla. That's just depending on whether you like the taste or not. And then in this one today, I'm going to add some almonds. I've also done it with walnuts, you do pistachios, whatever you'd like. So whether you want your chocolate plain or if you want it a little bit more exciting. So let's get started. What you're going to need is a double boiler. Now, as you know, I'm not known as a baker or anything like that. I'm doing this to show you how simple it really can be. So when I've seen recipes in the past that call for a double boiler, I kind of stayed away from them because I had no idea what that was. Now I realize it's actually quite a simple concept. Basically, you're just going to get a pot. You're going to fill it with about 1 inch to 2 inches of water in the bottom, and then you're going to put a glass bowl or a stainless steel bowl on top. So the important thing is that you want to make sure there's a space between the water and the bowl. So I'm going to turn this on. It's going to get a bit noisy because of the heating and the steam. Like I said, so that's a really simple concept, and the reason you do this is so that you melt the chocolate and the sauces evenly and they don't burn. So there we go. Now let's get started. I've got a few different spoons just to make this easier today. So we're going to start with the coconut oil. You're simply going to add 3 tablespoons of the oil. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let me put that aside, and then we're going to add the exact same amount with the almond butter. Now I haven't tried this with other nut butters, but I'm sure it would work out just fine with hazelnut butter as well, depending on what you like. So 1, 2, and for those of you that don't know what almond butter is, it really is just like peanut butter that you can find, and most shops carry it now, but if you're having trouble finding it, you can find it in a health food store. So 3 of each, nice and easy. You're going to start and just stir it together, mix those 2 ingredients together, and they'll just melt really gently. Just wipe my hands. Now this is excellent dessert to have, or a nice little treat, because you know exactly what's in it. You know, when you go to buy a chocolate bar, you don't often, even if it's organic, you don't often know exactly what's in it. With this, you know, because you've done it yourself. Okay, so just takes a little bit of time to melt this together. Now I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of the cocoa powder. So you can be quite generous with this. And as like anything, as you make this from time to time, you'll start to probably change it a little bit to be exactly how you like it personally. So there we go. That's kind of the magic step. Watch out for the steam when you're doing this as well on the sides, coming on the sides. Okay, I am going to add a little bit of vanilla to this recipe because I quite like it. I'm just going to add a cupful, or basically a teaspoon of vanilla. Oh, if you could smell this, this smells amazing. It's so, so nice. Now this doesn't make a lot. This probably makes, if you're using cupcake tins with the little cupcake paper cups, it makes about 6 or 7 of those, depending on how high you fill them. So depending on how many people you're going to make this for, then you could just double up the recipe. So then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the honey. And again, depending on how sweet you like it, you could probably get away with even just 1 or 1.5. And you don't really know until you try. There we go. So I'm mixing that all in. Oh, it smells so good. And you can kind of see this nice chocolate sauce that we're ending up with. So perfect. Now, what I've done while I let that go, what I did with the batch before is I made them in these little paper cups. That worked out really well so that you end up with individual sizes. I've also made it just in a tin, so you end up with a big kind of chunk of it, and then you just cut it into the pieces. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to add almonds to the bottom of this tin. You can do it with walnuts, you can do it with pistachios like we said before, whatever you prefer. I'm going to turn this off. And now I'm simply going to pour this sauce evenly all over the almonds. Oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. Okay, so once that's all covered up, perfect. So you can see what it looks like there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this in the freezer for about 20 minutes. That's the minimum time. You can have it in there obviously overnight or a lot longer. And magically, unlike some of my other recipes, I have actually made you some ahead of time so you can see how spectacular these are. Let me just close this. Now, so here is what it looks like on in the little paper cups. And you just take that off. There you go. And these actually reminded me of Reese's peanut butter cups that I grew up with in Canada, and as a child I loved them. I wouldn't dare even touch them now, as I would just see them as like chemical filled toxins. However, I did have an idea to try and make my own, so I did that, and it turned out really good. What I did is I took the paper cups and I just put a little layer of the chocolate in, and then I took the almond butter. So I put that in the freezer. After 20 minutes, I took it out. I put a little scoop of almond butter in the middle, and then I covered it again with another layer of chocolate. And so this is my own kind of almond butter cup that I ended up with, and this is absolutely divine. It's so nice. So there you go. There's a few different ideas. Get the base right, and then just be as creative as you want. This is a great treat, so enjoy it and enjoy sharing it with people.